All right, shalom, shalom. All right, I want to start by giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakar, Quadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to all the Akim out there pushing the word and sincerity and the truth. And it's the brothers from GMS Atlanta. You know, we got a quick lesson, quick topic, you know, we wanted to go into. And the lesson, as you can see, it is tips for potential brothers coming into GMS. You know, it's really a response video to the brother Abba. You know, the elder brother Abba in the camp, he had made a good lesson pertaining to this exact topic. And, you know, we just really wanted to weigh it out, you know, for young men that's actually, growing in the spirit on the outside of different camps, and even newer men that's actually in the camps. Certain things that you gotta, look out for, man. You know, certain things you gotta. It's a certain way you gotta move. It's a certain order you have to take, and it's a certain way, you act on these different things, man. Somebody can get 1 Corinthians, let everything. 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. You know, because you got a lot of men that are coming to truth, and some men they come in the right spirit, and some men they come a little rash. They speak a lot. That's one thing. First and foremost, when you come in the truth, you gotta be a slow speech, man. You don't really have to express everything that you went through in your past life and all these different things and really spilling your guts. When you first come in the truth, you gotta be reserved, man. You get Psalms 119 and 9, if I'm not mistaken. Because when you first come in, you come in to learn. All right, you're not coming to teach, to be a teacher and tell everything that you went through. You come in to learn different things and understanding the matters of Yahweh Shai and understanding how to walk as a man of the Lord should. Just like we always go into different examples of the disciples and men that were actually disciplined tutors, and they came up under the tutelage of master teachers. Peter and the disciples, Andrew, Thomas, so on and so forth. They was under Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh Shai basically led them in the spirit and showed them how to build their faith. He showed them how to walk, how to be upright in the faith. Oh, you can start with that Psalms 119 and 9, Salakia, and then we'll go to that.
All right, this is Psalms 119, verse 9. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. So
the scriptures say, wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? How do you cleanse your way as a young man or a newcomer coming into faith? It says what?
By taking heed.
By taking heed. To another word, when you take heed, is to listen. You got to be a good listener in this truth, man. When you have older brothers telling you certain things, you got to listen and you got to act upon these different things. Because when you even come in the truth, you under guidelines and you under order. All right? You got certain men that come in as young men and they don't like taking orders, man. That's another thing. That's another tip for brothers, man. Learn to take orders. If a brother is telling you certain things, whether get to camp on time, make sure that you open. If the brother set you over the signs, make sure you have the signs. If a brother set you over the camera, don't, here it is, Saturday's the camp, Sunday, you have from Sunday to next Saturday to upload videos. You should be doing it on Friday right before camp, or you trying to do it Saturday morning. You got to stay on your job, stay on your watch, so to speak. If you're a young man that's holding posts, whatever things that's issued, you got to do these things to the best of your ability. And how do you learn? You learn from different men around you. All right, that's why older men they set the example and they set the precedent, so to speak, to younger men. All right, when you actually holding posts or holding signs, look around, ponder men that's been around, see how they act, see how they move, see how they bring out the word, see how reserved they are, see how circumspect they are, and you learn those different things, and that's how you grow up the right way. You read a little bit more.
We'll go to verse 10.
Read that verse over.
All right, Psalms 119 and 9. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word.
Yeah, it says by taking heed according to the word, according to the scriptures. And when you first come into truth, you don't know the scriptures. All right, you may know a couple things. A lot of men, whatever age, you have sometimes men come in at 35, 36, 39, 28, 29, different age brackets. But you come in as a child. All right, you don't know the scriptures. All right. It don't matter if a brother's 10 years older than you. You still got to respect that brother because this brother has been laboring on a longer path for a longer time than you. So you have to follow the track, so to speak, man. And if he does tell you certain things to teach you, you got to listen. All right, don't act and move on your own energy. Because a lot of times men will do that and they wind up in bad situations and they start to damage the camps that they're in. Now brothers got to go out their way to get them out of jams, man. Another tip that I want to bring out is to stay at home, man. You shouldn't be all throughout these cities. The scriptures tells you that. All right, don't wonder about the city. When you first come in, learn the truth, man. Learn about the apostles and the elders. Understand the breakdowns. Understand the scriptures. Read the testimonies, all right, of these different disciples and these different prophets and kings and leaders. If you haven't ate the whole roll like Ezekiel, that should be your primary focus. All right, learning the scriptures and understanding to the best of your ability. Now, of course, it's going to take a while to understand these things fully. You know, we all, even, you know, myself and the brothers around, you know, that's been around for a little minute now, we always got room to grow. It's always a level to increase, you know, but you still have to take the initiative, all right? And if you know that you're on a weak level, so to speak, then you shouldn't be frolicking all around these different cities, man. Trying to, you know, go to all these different bars and all these different clubs and things of that nature. You know, because like I said earlier, it winds you up in bad predicaments. We've seen these things happen to brothers, man. We've seen young men that come in and they're very excited and they're very, you know, anxious, so to speak, and they want to show and, you know, do their thing, bring their baggage in the truth, and they end up in the worst predicament when didn't even come in the truth, man. You know, because they wasn't listening, because they wasn't taking heed unto the scriptures, the law, statutes, and commandments, and the words of righteous men. All right, you got that up? You know, 1 Corinthians?
Come.
And if you got anything, you know, bring it out whenever you feel it. Any brother, y'all, time in, you know. Because, you know, I just want to make a quick point, too, because we all been young men also. So we could always express certain things and tell brothers certain things we did, even mishaps. Sometimes getting got on from making foolish decisions. That's a testimony. All right? You can tell a brother, hey, man, you know, I did this in the faith, and I know that's not what you should be doing. All right? So when a man actually comes in the truth and he understands the stripes, so to speak, of the job, they know how to move upright. They know how to walk through that straight and narrow, so to speak. All right? You got something?
Yeah, 1 Corinthians.
Okay.
1 Corinthians 14:40. Let all things be done decently and in order.
Yeah, scripture says, let all things be done decently and in order. So everything has to be decent. When you a man that's coming in the truth, like I said, you gotta follow orders, man. Whatever order a brother tells you to do, man, you gotta learn how to listen. Another thing too is paying tithes. A lot of these things, those are requirements of you. Like I said, getting the camp on time, doing your videos. If you not doing your 3 videos a week, you may come in the truth and you don't have enough, you know, firepower, so to speak, to do these different videos. Well, you should be learning these scriptures, man. You should be going to your camp leaders pages, you know, different brothers that's older than you, and really learning from them. If a brother can get that in Sirach, where it says, if you see a man of understanding, get thee beat times, and wear out the saints, wear out the path of his door. All right. So if you're a man of little understanding, and you see a brother with a large amount of understanding, what's your job as a young man with a lack of skill? To go to that man that's skillful to learn those skills. That's how you trade talents. It tells you that in Matthew. All right. When you take things and subject matters, information of one brother and skills, and you learn how to extract those skills and emulate it, all right? And you become a better individual. That's how you wax old in your work, all right? You got that?
This is Ecclesiasticus, known as Sirach, chapter 6, verses 36. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him.
B-times, yep.
B-times unto him, Salakia.
Hey, a brother, go look up B-times also.
No, it's like early.
Yeah, it represents early, like it talks about how the prophets will wake up B-times. So it means to really be hasty, all right, or early. Whenever you get up with something that B-times is really before the sun set in, so to speak, all right? So you actually taking the initiative. You actually calling. That's another thing too, communication. You know, you got a lot of men that come in and they want to be in their own little quarters in this faith, man. The scripture says to do good and to communicate. Forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. Whenever brothers get together, you know, you should be in the midst of those things, man. To learn, to soak up this information, to soak up this wisdom. All right? And if you can't physically come around at times, because it happens, you know, brothers, you know, you have certain sit downs and you'll have certain lessons where a brother can't come to, Fridays we usually do our classes and different things like that for brothers, to get sharper and more polished in the wisdom. And the young men, they can't come. What do we tell the brothers to do? We tell the brothers to call in. All right, so they basically spiritually there, even though they're not physically there. They can hear the dialogues their brothers are speaking on, understanding, the scriptures and the breakdowns, and they hear us fully going to it, So like I said, you gotta communicate. You gotta take orders, all right, the right way, and you gotta understand how to take reproofs like a man. All right, sit down. Scriptures say, what it say, to be still. All right, all these different things. And like I said earlier, these are just tips and pointers for brothers, so that you can actually walk through the longevity of this thing, man. A lot of men, they move real fast and they end up burning out quick, man. All right, you got some more on that?
Yeah, I'll start from the top again. Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 36. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him.
Yeah, if you see a man that has a large understanding of the scriptures, a large amount of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, keep going.
And let thy foot wear the steps of his door.
Yeah, wear the foots of his doorsteps out. Whenever you wear something out, like you ever wore some, Adidas or Nikes, what's these shoes, Air Force Ones, you end up wearing them and you look at the sole is damn, all of the imprints is actually got them rubbed out because you've been wearing them out, man. That's what the scriptures is saying. Wear the steps out, being constant, consistent. All right? That's how you grow. The scriptures say the heart of the diligent gets fat, so to speak. So the more consistent you are, and the more you actually your zeal. That's another thing too. You got to be zealous when you first come in. Pray, and if you don't have that zeal, you got to fast. Young men that come in, you should be a man that's actually doing these things, fasting, praying. Because when you come in, you have a lot of caked up demons from the world. You have a lot of worldly ways still on you. All right. And it takes time to purge those things. That's why I said, pray, fast. If you're not a man of many prayers, so to speak, you got to break that and put that into action, man. Break those old habits that you have, because that's really what you're doing when you come into truth. You're breaking old habits and you're putting off that old man, as the scriptures say, and you're putting on this new man. And as a new man, it's a way to move as a new man. Like I said, praying, fasting, taking orders, reproofs, all right? Being in communication with brothers. If it's a brother that's over you, be in communication with that man. Asking questions. Hey, when you first come in, you don't know a lot of things, man. You should ask questions, understanding. What you want to say, bro? Being inquisitive. All right, learning these things in the scriptures. All right, like I said, understanding the history, understanding geography. Just as the student that passes the classes is the ones that's most attentive. They focus and they're concentrated on the class, the lessons at hand. They ask a lot of questions. A lot of students that get good results in school, they ask questions. They constantly in front of the teacher. What do they call them? Teachers' pets.
Very involved.
Yeah. They're very involved. They call them teachers' pets. Why? Because they always basically on the teacher's right side. Every time you see the teacher's pet, the teacher pet want to do something for the teacher. Wants to learn from the teacher. They always having conversations with the teacher pertaining to whether it's biology or science, mathematics. But that type of energy and that type of consistency gives great results. And those same teachers' pets become professors or teachers themselves, man.
I got something.
Okay, well you can bring it up.
Just everything that the brother Barzal was saying, just everything, because the brother was hitting it on the head, especially pertaining to younger men. This is Ecclesiastes 3:3. It says a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. And you're in the time to build up, So when you first get into the camp, like the brother beautifully brought out in Sirach, you be around a knowledgeable man, be around your elders. Okay, those are your spiritual fathers. Mm-hmm. Watching the apostles and the elders, they're teaching you and grooming you in how to be a man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's your time to build up. Like the brother said too, you shouldn't be out there wandering the streets, still in the city, still doing the same things you were doing when you're in the world, man. You gotta shave those off. Mm-hmm. In Romans 6 it talks about the old man is crucified.
Yep.
With Yahushua, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta leave that old man on the cross, and now you're reborn. Don't the scriptures say in Hebrews 5, the one who's still sucking the milk is unskillful?
Yep, unskillful in the word.
And how do you get more milk? You be around your elders and your elder brethren in your camp and build up. It's the time to build up.
Yep.
I got to reset the line back off.
Oh, you still have a little bit more?
No, that was it. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah,
And like I said, if you brothers want to even bring out certain things, testimonials, you know, and if any brother have any responses, even as, because we all were young men, you know, we all came in the truth on the day one, you know, we all had times where we got cussed the hell out by older men and you know, brothers around you. We had instructions that we had to get, you know, about just how to be a man on the whole, how to be a man of the Lord, how to grow in brotherly love, understanding charity, and all these different aspects of the faith, because it's a lot of different aspects. This truth is manifold, and you can't say that you come in this truth perfect. You come in with a lot of imperfections. But brothers that's been running for a longer amount of time, they understand. They pick up on skills as they go. So you should pick up on these different things. Like I said, and that's the main thing, is to be around men. You're not gonna pick up on anything if you're not around them. You learn these different tips. You understand these different aspects of wisdom. And you understand that the spirit of the Lord more and more, the more you are around men of the Lord. That's how it works. It tells you that in Proverbs, he that's amongst the wise shall be wise, and the companion of fools shall be destroyed. So you can't keep company with foolishness. Oh, that's another thing too. When you first come in, just being around a lot of friends from the world, you know, and being you know, you're still stuck on your family matters and things like that. You got to cut that out, man.
That's right.
You know. Scripture says, don't keep company with fools. The word company means to eat bread, with bread. Come meaning with, and pani means bread. That's where you get the term panini or panera bread. You shouldn't be eating bread with them. You shouldn't break bread with sinners.
That's right.
All right, well, you got a lot of people, well, didn't the Lord eat with publicans and sinners? He was amongst them because he was built in them in the faith. Now, if you have certain people that do listen to the word, then of course deal with them. But the scriptures say, after 2 or 3 admonitions, reject. And another thing too, as a young man, you don't even know the scriptures to teach somebody. You got to learn first. All right? You only know 3-4 scriptures. You try to break down all these different things, and then the person you trying to teach, they got all kind of questions, and you confound it. Now you got to call another brother. Hey, what does this mean? Hey, bro, just sit down and listen and learn. You get it for yourself. Then later on, if the Spirit allows it, you actually have that discernment to see if somebody can get it or not. Because before, you just zealous, man. You don't know the individuals that can get it and that can't. And a lot of times, most people you're talking to, they just can't get it, and you just doing things unwisely. But that comes with growth. That comes with youthfulness. We all did it, you know. That's just zeal. That's just showing you got a strong fire and a strong passion for the faith. But you got to understand. You have to be children in understanding, like the scriptures say. And understanding be ye men. You got something?
You got something?
Yeah. This is Hebrews 13 and 17. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves.
Yeah.
For they watch for your souls, as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief. Yeah, it says to submit yourselves because they watch for your soul, because they have to give account, because it's an order. If the brother that first comes in, if he's lacking in certain things, then the man that's over him, he gets got him. He has to take account for these things, man. All right, why this brother ain't doing his videos, or why he ain't, sharpening these certain matters? Well, wasn't you dealing with him? Wasn't you supposed to be the individual that gives him these different understandings? All right. And a lot of times, some men just don't like to come around, man. Some men, they be having that worldly spirit on them. They want to come around on Saturdays, and they want to talk they shit, so to speak, whenever they get the chance, and then they they just want to be in their own little quarters, man. But that type of spirit, even us brothers in the faith that's been seasoned and that's been around, you got to sniff that bullshit out, man. You got to sniff and discern the type of spirits that be on men. Because sometimes men be sincere, they just have a lot of worldly ways, that they have to clean up, but you have to rebuke those spirits on. All right, that's that fire. You got to light that fire into some men's asses so that they could, walk that straight and narrow. We all had to go through the same thing, like I said, Read that over. This is Hebrews 13 and 17. obey them that have the rule over you.
Yeah, and that word obey goes back to being obedient, to serve. That's where you get, to basically abide means to be a servant, to be under. When you a servant, you take the rule from a master. All right, when you work in a job, what does the manager or the boss tell you? They give you principles, they give you guidelines, they tell you what to do, they tell you what not to do, they give you a dress code. You know, hey, that's another thing too. Hey man, you can't be coming to truth sagging your goddamn pants all the time, man. It's a dress code in this truth. You can't be looking any type of way with these funny haircuts and all this crazy madness, man. It's the way you walk. It's the way you talk. It's the way you conduct yourself. That's how to conduct yourself. It goes to dress code and morality on the whole. So all these different things, that's how you gotta move. And like I said earlier, when you work in a job, all these different things are presented for you, and they ask you these different things. That's why you have interviews and you have questionnaires, and they ask you, are you able to actually keep these guidelines? Yeah, the standard. Are you able to keep the standard of the job? And a lot of people will check accept or say yes on the job or to the person that's interviewing, and they end up not doing majority of the shit on the job, and they get their ass fired, man. Some people last in the job for a month, some men last for a year. You know, some people last for 2 years, but you have some people that actually keep the guidelines, and they're very inquisitive, and they do everything that the job tells them to do, and they get to retire at the end. So that's what we should be looking towards for retirement, so to speak. What's the retirement? The kingdom of heaven. Doing everything that Yahweh Shah told us to do as a good and faithful servant. That's how we get the crown. Yep. You got a little bit more?
Yeah, I'll finish it off.
Okay.
Alright, it says Hebrews 13 and 17, obey them that have the rule over you and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls as they that must give account.
Yep.
That they may do it with joy and not with grief.
Yep.
For that is unprofitable for you.
Yeah, and see, that's very, very important, just to listen, man. You could get out of a lot of situations just being a good listener. All right, for brothers, like I said, for brothers telling you what to do, because that's one of the main things when men tell other men what to do. Jake be having a big problem with that. You know, I came in the truth. You know, I ain't no men gonna be telling me all this shit. I ain't no brothers gonna be telling me to get to class on Fridays and to get to camp at 3 o'clock. Hey man, just shut the fuck up and listen, man. That goes for all of us, you know. We have to go through these things. When orders laid out from the top, everybody goes through it. It don't matter how many years you've been in. All right, when Apostle Hart pushed out the decree for 3 videos a year, hey, you got something that's in GMS that's older than Apostle Hart. But are they required to do their 3 videos? Yes. That's order, man. It's an order, it's a commandment, so to speak. You know, you got a lot of men with that commandments of men's spirit. Hey, men are gonna actually push out decrees and commandments in the spirit. All right, we ain't got to give you 1,000 precepts to tell you so. All right, from the apostles on down, you know, different brothers in command. You know, they don't have to break down every little thing to you. Just take orders. All right, like I said, be quiet, because sometimes a lot of men be having a lot of feedback when taking orders. Well, do you think it's like this? Well, where I'm from and how I grew up, we used to do it like, no. This ain't how we doing it like where you from. I don't know. I ain't never been to where you from. This is how we do it here. You know, and you got to follow that chain of command. And that's how you wax old in your work. All right? Because if you're a good listener and if you're a good servant, that's how you become a great teacher. Keep going.
I'll finish on that. But I wanted to say, with this scripture in particular, you might be like 37 years old, and the man that's over you might be 27, 20. You know, you have to remind yourself that you're coming back into your nationality, and this man's been laboring longer in the spirit than you. So you got to get that Babylon, you know, can't tell me nothing spirit, because that's what Jake likes to go about. Well, I was born in 76, and you know, you just a young buck. You know, it don't work like that, because you got men that's more mature in the spirit than you when you first come in.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That was in Psalm 4:8, and also in Hebrews 5:12.
Got
to be taught again.
Yep. Oh yeah, yep. Say, if any man think if he know of anything, he know of nothing. That's right. As he ought to know.
1 Corinthians.
Yeah, because we all, like I said, we all come in as babes. You come in sucking the milk. You need, you in desperation for a titty to suck. That's how you come in the truth. Because you malnourished from the world. You haven't had this good water, so to speak, these living waters So you have to come and you got to get built up. If you could get that Hebrews 5, which the brother quoted earlier, what Hebrews 5:14, and 1 Peter is what 2 and 2.
I got something for you.
Okay, you can bring it out.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 1. And I, brethren, could not speak unto you as unto spiritual, but as unto carnal, even as unto babes in Yahushua.
Yep. Well, you get expound on it.
Carnal. I was going to read verse 2. It says, I have fed you with milk, and not with meat. For hitherto ye were not able to bear it, neither yet now are ye able. So yeah, that goes back to what brothers first coming in, and what the brother beautifully brought. Aina was saying, men coming in here who may be physically older than you, but younger than you in the spirit. You gotta be fed the milk. You gotta be built up first before you just start. Like the brother Barzal says, trying to break things down and don't have the full totality of everything. You gotta be built up first.
Yep.
When you come in this thing, you as a baby again. You gotta learn your ABCs. You gotta learn to walk again.
And you 1, 2, 3. You gotta learn the Hebrew. You understand that you a Hebrew Israelite. And I want to bring out one more point, and we can get the scriptures. But gossiping, man.
Yeah.
You got a lot of men that come in and they talk too much, man. They be on the chat talking about everything but the scriptures. Like, what the hell is you doing, man? You gotta learn how to keep your mouth shut. You can't bring that Wendy Williams spirit in here, man. That Wendy Williams, that gossip, all that bullshit, man. Cause a lot of guys, man, they be at home watching goddamn BET and all these goddamn women reality shows all fucking day. Atlanta hip hop and all that garbage, and they still be having those caked up demons on them, man.
But it also goes into watching what you say as well, because a lot of Jake is on social media nowadays, and they do that gossiping on social media. So, it shouldn't be a time where you just on social media running your mouth about the scriptures. You trying to cut people on social media, but the scriptures just there's a scripture I want. I can't remember. I think it's in Proverbs 17. Well, I'm bringing it out.
Okay. Well, you want to go ahead and get what you had? Would you want to still say something too?
Yeah, I'll read it right quick.
Okay, well, yeah, you go ahead.
All right, this is Proverbs 17 and 27. He that have knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. So you gotta know what to say at certain times, and a lot of Jakes is waking up through the internet, but now it's just going too far with some people on the internet, so it's just wise to just keep your mouth shut and keep your head down and learn from men that's over you.
Yeah, and just like the brother said, that social media spirit. That's another tip. Don't be all over the goddamn internet posting and saying everything on Instagram and Facebook. Cause we saying these things because we don't do it, man. It ain't like I'm on Instagram. I don't even have an Instagram. On these different social media sites and just talking a heap of shit and then telling brothers don't do it. What kind of advice is that? You can't give advice if you're not taking the same advice that you spewing out, so to speak.
Romans 2.
Yep, Romans 2. Where it says thou art not excusable, inexcusable, man. The things that you do, you got to do yourself. You can't be a hypocrite. That's what Yahushua was getting down on those Pharisees and Sadducees for, because they were telling younger men in Jerusalem certain things to do, how to keep law, statutes, and commandments, but they wasn't keeping those things. So we coming from a position of basically acting on these things, man. We're not just saying these things. We actually don't do these things. All right? I said, if you're on Instagram and you're running your mouth and you putting up all kind of weird pictures and recording yourself around brothers, we don't do that, man. Recording yourself doing nigga shit, in the car bumping Jeezy or all these goddamn nigga rappers. Don't be doing that crap, man. All you're doing is exposing yourself to the world as a fool. That's why it says what the brother just read in Proverbs 17, how a wise man spares his words, man. Whenever you spare something, like if you have spare change or a spare tire, it's held back. It's something that's held back in your safe. So when you in the faith, a lot of things you just gotta, it's certain things to say, and like I said, it's a time to speak and it's a time not to speak. It's a time to keep your mouth shut at certain times. For the most part, even when you're in the faith, a lot of stuff just don't even tell brothers, man. It's a lot of stuff that, certain things I talk to brothers about, certain stuff I just keep as a man, man. That's how a man is, man. As a man dealing with even children. If you had your parents telling you, damn, hey, hey son, man, bills ain't gonna get paid. You don't tell your kids shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't getting no hours like that. We gonna be fucked up for the next 5 months. You don't tell. You actually you show the expression, and you always put the energy out like everything is all right. All right. That's another thing too. Hey, you can't be all emotional when you come to truth. The scripture said that in Hebrews. Lift up the feeble knees, man, bro, man. I'm going through it, man. Babylon, man.
That woe is me spirit.
That what was me, man. This shit hard, man. That's what you think you signed up for. It's hard for all of us, but we don't express it. Hey, brother's fucked up. If you probably if you can see through and look at brothers' bank accounts, you be like, God damn, these brothers is finished, man. You know?
Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, I know. Like, damn, these brothers are doing a lesson. They need to do some Uber or something. They pretty jacked up, man. But that's just how we gotta be, man. You gotta,
apples, nigga.
I know, sell some apples or some fruits or something, man.
Like, you should sell some waters or something.
Yeah. But hey, you gotta show that manliness, man. You can't let this world phase you. It's gonna phase you, of course. Scripture say, "Be ye angry, sin not." Don't show all your cards, man. That's wisdom. It's a wisdom in reserving yourself, so to speak.
If I can say something about
Okay.
one thing too, a message I would like to convey to younger men who are aspiring to come into the camps is, you got to really realize or try to understand the fact that, when you're watching these videos, whether you're watching the men on the street, going out on the highways and hedges on a weekly basis, or you watching the lessons, you got to understand that's an accumulation of time that's actually just being channeled in that one moment. So, a lot of times I feel like men see that energy that men kind of are pushing out, on YouTube through the videos, but you don't really understand that when you come in, you're not really coming in to begin to speak. You're really coming in to soak up.
Yeah.
Just soak up. So then, as the Spirit builds you up upon your foundation, then you begin to speak. But I just want to bring this out.
Yeah, that's a beautiful point.
Philippians 2:12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
That's beautiful.
So if you really come into this thing with the mindset and mentality of, first and foremost, I gotta focus on me, man. Cause like brothers have been bringing out. You come in and it's honestly a good thing to have a zealous spirit, because you wanna build on what the Spirit has put in you already. But at the same time, you gotta understand that first and foremost, you gotta work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So you shouldn't be focused on or have the objective of going out here, like men are saying, the brother's saying, of going out here and posting things on Facebook or Instagram, or trying to teach everybody that you come across. No, first and foremost, like men are saying, learn how to ingest that milk. Learn how to get the basics. Learn how to dress. Learn how to walk. Learn how to carry yourself. Learn how to bear your burdens. It's a process. Don't just take a more refined product, more or less, of men actually going out here and pushing the word and think that you're gonna come in on that level. No, first and foremost, you starting from the bottom, and you building yourself up. So before you even come in and try to open your mouth, really open your ears.
Mm-hmm.
You should be building on the outside, man.
Yeah.
To where you can just it's a smooth transition inside of the camp.
Mm-hmm.
You should just be at the camp, abiding. What's that? Ecclesiastes 5:1. Like the brother your dad was really beautifully putting out. You should be doing that, man. And then it's a smooth transition in the camp. But when you get in the camp, don't expect, next week I'm speaking. You know what I'm saying? It ain't none of that. You should be. What I was thinking, because I read that 1 Corinthians 3, and he said, "I speak unto you carnal," and I was gonna put it in an aspect as this: you should want to be like a Tim Duncan. His nickname, if I'm not mistaken, is Mr. Fundamental.
The big fundamental.
The big fundamental.
Yeah, I believe.
So you should want to be the big fundamental. You got the basics down, Because to end all say all, when all hell breaks loose, what are you gonna fall back on most? Most your fundamentals, your basic prayers, the basic scriptures. Because people won't come up to you asking what the hell's going on. You're gonna give them base things, but it's to the point. So you should want to be a big fundamental. It's the basics, man. Like the brother Barzal saying, your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s before you start getting advanced.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, just like as a child, man. You know, you don't put the cart before the horse. You don't eat meat before you actually drinking milk. Drink milk so your body is developed properly. And then when it's time to actually consume meat, your body has already developed the enzymes and it's developed acid. You know, it got a proper balance. Because even with your body's balance, you have an acid balance, an alkaline balance, a hormonal balance. There's a lot of things that have to be balanced for your body to work, to function optimally. So it has to be the same thing in the faith. You know, you have to actually make sure that you grow up properly and don't run too fast and don't run too slow. All right, even when you're on the outside of the camp, for men that's on the outside, hey, you shouldn't be having your scriptures at camp, man.
That's right.
You ain't here for entertainment, for brothers to cuss out white people and you know, Edomites and you know, so-called black women walking past. That's not what we do, man. That's not the energy that we projected. That's one among many. Scriptures speak about rebukes, but it speaks about a lot of other things. And you can't get caught up on that one thing. Oh, I'm pissed off with the black woman. Or I'm pissed off with the white man, so that's why I want to join GMS. Nah, it's way more that comes with that. You know, it's just responsibilities. Like the brothers were speaking about order, man. And it takes a lot of times to be quiet and listen and to learn. Not speaking, because when you first come into knowledge, you come basically dumb. The word dumb means not able to speak. All right. Yeah, that's when you get dumbfounded. All right, when you ain't got nothing to utter. So when you first come in, you don't have much to utter because you have to come in as a newborn babe. As a babe, does a baby talk to you and tell you, hey, give me that titty, or tell you certain things? Nah, the baby just has his mouth open and they can only whine and complain to show or represent that they need milk. That's all they could do. They could show little light things of body language, but that's the most. They don't, you know, get out the stool, so to speak, and go open up the fridge and cook a meal. All right, because they're babies, they're children. They have to crawl. They have to, like I say, you got to crawl before you walk.
That's right.
Hey, don't be trying to run on the treadmill if you still crawling, man. You still in the crawling phases.
Knees all weak.
Yeah, your knees all weak. And that's how you break bones, man. Yeah. Just like when you working out, when you first start in the gym, you start with the basics, man.
Little weights.
Start with little weights, whatever your body can contain, until you start mass bodybuilding. But you don't see a man on his first day, he got them lifting with a man that's been 8-9 years lifting. You do that shit gonna goddamn drop on your neck and it's gonna kill you, man.
And if I can build on your point, when you do that, you actually setting yourself back. Like you know, just imagine I'm coming in, I haven't worked out ever, and I'm coming in trying to lift 150-pound dumbbells. You're gonna hurt yourself, and then what? You gotta go into recovery, rehab, and that's what be happening. You know, if you come in the wrong spirit, and the spirit really check you for you being adverse to the spirit, more or less, you're gonna get set back, because you're gonna take steps back to build you back up. But if you just build yourself properly, then the spirit just continues to add upon to you.
Go with the curriculum. Mm-hmm. You know. I got a precept, but if y'all
okay.
This is Sirach chapter 32, verse 7. It says, "Speak, young man, if there be need of thee, and yet scarcely when thou art twice asked."
Yeah, it says, "Speak, young man, if there be need of thee." Hey, you gotta learn this wisdom. A lot of wisdom comes from the book of Sirach. It tells you how to be when you're in a multitude of men that's older. Use not many words. And it says, "Speak, young man, if there be need of thee." If not, you gotta put your hand over your mouth, man.
That's true.
If a brother is asking you certain things, that's when it's time to speak. But you should be like the brother said, attentive and listening. Peak game, so to speak. That's even a wise man. And even if you come into any organization, this is wisdom on the whole. Mm-hmm. If you first start in a mob, you don't, you know what I used to do back. That's the type of guy to get knocked off the next day. This dude's talking too much. You already know when you get clamped down on that he gonna give up the whole operation. A man that's wise keeps his mouth shut, man. Hey, didn't Robert De Niro say that in the Bronx still? He said there's 2 things to learn basically. Never rat on your friends and keep your mouth shut. And that's wisdom, man. It's as simple as that. Them 2. It goes back down to those 2. All right, the Lord tells you, the Lord breaks it down to basic 2 commandments. What he say? Love the Lord with all thy mind, heart, and soul, and love thy brother as thyself. And with love and all these different things, there's certain outlines and guidelines that comes with that. All these things come with the territory, so to speak. But you keep going out.
Verse 8 says, let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth, and yet holdeth his tongue.
Yeah, and even when you come in and you do know, you might know a couple things. Hey, when a lot of brothers come in, brothers don't come in just foolish, of course. Brothers already were pre-inquisitive. They already, went to college and they already seen a couple of things. They had their way around the world, so to speak. So of course we know that brothers know a couple of things, but that's not the point of the matter. It's about how you carry yourself with the wisdom. All right, you don't go flapping off the hinges and telling them all. I know about Daniel. I know about all these things, man. I read the Bible and I went into all these different things 3 or 4 times. Like, nah, bro, just chill, bro. Cool it.
Prove yourself.
Yeah, try to prove yourself.
Prove yourself to the Yahweh Shem Shah.
And another thing too, prove yourself when it's time to prove yourself.
That's right.
It's a time, it's a season of things. That's the beauty of it in the faith. It's gonna be a time where you're called to speak. So be prepared. Prepare. Like the word prepare means to basically means back. All right, so beforehand, before you actually get on the stool of speaking and representing the faith, you should already have been working in the background, learning the scriptures, like I said, learning from older men, sometimes learning from men in your contemporaries, so to speak, men that's been around your same range.
Come.
And that's how you wax old in your work. That's how you grow from a young man to a stronger older man. All right, that's how the apostles started. That's how the elders started. That's how everybody starts. Everybody starts from day one. All right, you got some more?
Yeah, this is the last verse.
Okay.
It says, if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. And when ancient men are in place, use not many words.
Yeah, and that's just a level of etiquette, and that goes back to respect, man. When you're around certain people, it's a certain way you talk and carry yourself. And people actually notice that too. If it's older men that's around and they're around young men, older men talk. They're like, yeah, I see how that brother carries himself. Very reserved. That's the word right there. You want to be reserved. He doesn't speak too much. He speak when spoken to. He ain't flapping off, and that's how Scripture speak about a good name. That's how you obtain a good name. All right. Scripture say, what is a good name is more precious than fine ointment.
That's right.
Ointment back in the ancient world, that ain't something that went for the low, man. That was basically worth its weight in gold. So you got to be worth your weight in gold, so to speak, when you carry yourself, showing yourself as a righteous man. And it tells you to be quiet. You may not know these things. You may not know to be quiet, but that's when that rebuke comes. That's why you have older men to tell you these things. The scriptures say be quiet, bro. But at the end of the day, you got to learn how to take punches too in this faith, man. This is a spiritual boxing gym. Brothers gonna throw them punches at you. It's all about how you take that hit in the jaw. You take that punch in the chest, and you're gonna get up like a man, and you're gonna keep boxing and keep going on a path, or you're gonna be a bitch made and just quit throwing the towel. Oh man, them brothers, man, they like cussing people out and shit. I ain't with all that.
Quit on your stool, man.
Yeah, quit on your stool. Hey, God damn, bro, you didn't get knocked out in the round. You could have at least fake getting knocked out. You got a minute. Throw that big T, like timeout. Nah, it ain't. We cool and all. I believe in Yahweh Shah, but I don't believe in you talking to me like that. Nah, bro, at the end of the day, take order, man. Some brothers give soft order, some brothers give hard. Hey, bro, this how it's gonna be done, man. This is the order in the camp. This, that. All you should be doing is conning it. Hey, the water. Simple as that. But you got, man, why we gonna do it like this? The old way wasn't better? And then you put yourself in a seat of rebuke, man. A lot of men actually put themselves in seats to get their asses chewed out. That's just the reality of it. That's true. The truth. Mm-hmm. But the Most High, he does that to weed out guys at the same time. That's how the Spirit actually shows us men in the faith how to discern good from evil. Them good fruit from evil trees, so to speak. Evil fruit. Says that in Matthew. A good tree can't produce good fruit, and an evil tree, a tree, can't produce evil fruit, and an evil tree can't produce good fruit. So your fruit represents the words that actually come out your mouth and how you actually carry yourself. That all these different things show what manner of man he is. It tells you that in Sirach. All right, and you brothers got anything?
I got a quick precept.
Okay.
Yeah, I got some too.
Proverbs 12:23. A prudent man concealeth knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaimeth foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into the blue letter and got that word for prudent, and it's a rum. It says subtle, shrewd, crafty. So a subtle, shrewd, or crafty man conceals knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaiming foolishness. Just like what was going into, really, like we were saying, really for men coming in, you just want to listen, man. You just want to listen, and you just want to be around brothers. And through that, coupled with you building yourself in your own personal time, you're gonna grow. And the thing about it too is, if you do that, we're getting to a point where it's gonna be more and more men added to this body, to this church. And if you just do your part and you stay humble and you stay low and you just allow the Spirit to work within you, you're gonna get your time to speak. It's gonna come a time where the Spirit's gonna need you to express certain things to other men.
Yeah.
So your time is gonna come, but really, you want to build yourself to be the most prepared that you can possibly be when the Spirit calls on you to open your mouth. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be spewing foolishness, because like the brother was saying, what happens if you're not being wise in what you're saying? You're gonna put yourself in the hot seat to get your ass chewed out, man.
I got something for you, and you can expound on it. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14 to 19. I'll start at 18. I think the Most High, I speak with tongues more than y'all. Verse 19, yet in the church I had rather speak 5 words with my understanding, that by my voice I might teach others also, than 10,000 words in an unknown tongue. Mm-hmm.
Hey, just like the brother's going into, man, few words. Few words. Few 4 or 5 words at the opportune time are way more valuable than a long dialogue about things that aren't going to help men out.
Yeah, you learned that after a while. Even just like, if I do want to add a light point to what the brother was saying, because it was even the king. I forget the king, but every time he would have counselors, they would speak to him about 1,000 things going on with the courts and things, political matters, and he would always say short words like "I will see," Just keep it real short and brief. But that was something that was very, very important, and that people they knew that he was a wise man, because he just said a few words, and they didn't know what type of perspective he was coming from. Like, damn, he ain't even expressing himself. He ain't showing frustration. He ain't showing his card. He's not hesitant, because he knew he was around a lot of ass kissers too. That used to just try to cake him up and say certain things to make him feel good, but he would just say those few words. And that's the thing with wisdom. It's not always about talking and showing all these things that flaunting the sword and all this bullshit. Nah, man. If you hit a man, that's even a wisdom in the art of warfare. Hitting a man at them pressure points and making them drop, man. You ain't gotta do all these weird cuts and shit like that. Nah, man. So in the wisdom and the wise way of performing and acting is to be slow to speak. And when you do speak a few words.
Can I make an analogy? It's boxing. Okay, you had your Mike Tyson, and then you had your a few fights of Muhammad Ali. For an example, saying a lot of words is like a Muhammad Ali fight or a Floyd Mayweather fight. It's drawn out. Okay, it's a lot of jabs, a lot of defense. It's drawn out, and then you finally get your point across in the 12th round. Mike Tyson, you hit him with the 3, 4, 5 words in a quick precept. That's a quick hitter. Done first round in 30 seconds. So you can come with haymakers with short words, man. Mm-hmm. It just get to the point. And real snappy with it. And you can't really refute that. It's like, damn. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. You know what I'm saying?
That's beautiful, man. Yeah.
And
go ahead. You got it.
And truth be told, if we're going along an analogy of boxing, truth be told, you don't even know what type of fighter you are, man.
Yeah.
You might come in, I'm Mike Tyson, I'm coming here with these shots, man, hit him in the body and knock his ass out. You might not be a Mike Tyson. The spirit might, you might be a Mayweather.
Yeah.
Yeah, come
You might be an Ali. You don't even know because what? You're a newborn babe. And really, you trying to create the type of soldier for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai that you're gonna be, you don't know because the scriptures say what? We are being made into a new creation, a new creature. So you don't even know who you are really.
Yeah.
You got to allow the Spirit to reveal to you who you are and the type of soldier that you're called to be.
Because we all different in one way or another. Just like the brother said. So you got to sit down and learn yourself. Because even when you come into faith, you don't know yourself. You don't know the scriptures. You don't know nothing. That's why it says a man doesn't know anything. And we all came from that same position. It ain't shitting on other men, but it's the reality. When we first came, we didn't know nothing. We didn't know any of these scriptures. We had to come from a position of learning as a student. When you're a student in a class, you keep yourself quiet. You ask a question when it's time to ask a question. You know, and then eventually, like I said before, eventually the time will come where you have the platform to speak, to do your 3 videos, or if you want to do 20 videos a week, do it, you know? Or you'll have your time to speak at camp or to, perform classes or things to build up and speak to younger men to build them up in the faith. The time comes, but you have to learn first. Come from a position of eating the raw. You know, when you consume as like, look at a bird, so to speak, how the bird actually, it has to actually regurgitate.
That's right.
And it has to regurgitate all of the food that it actually consumes, because the baby's digestive system is not strong enough to break down that food itself naturally. So after it regurgitates, the baby has to eat through a couple of, through a time lapse, so to speak, or a time phrase. And then after a while, what do? They actually push the baby out of the nest. They make it. You ain't gonna be no big ass bird in the nest. It's gonna be time for you to fly. They actually kick them out of the nest. It's too much. It's not enough room, And then they might have another offspring, so to speak, of birds that need time to hatch after a while. They gotta make room. You gotta fly out to the world, so to speak. So it's the same thing in the faith. All right. Brothers, got anything? If not, I'll bring out this quick precept.
You can bring it.
Okay. That I have one is Rock 33. Let me see.
Well, I got it.
Yeah, this is right here, Salak, yeah.
Okay.
This is Sirach 33 and set 26. It says, a yoke and a collar do bow down the neck, so are tortures and torments for an evil servant. Verse 27, this is the main point I want. Send him to labor, that he be not idle. For idleness teacheth much evil. Set him to work as it is fit for him. If he be not obedient, put on more heavy fetters. Hey, that means you, even when you come in the truth, you got to come from a position of working, man. All of us are fellow yokemen. Whenever you, like Yahweh Shah said, he's going to lay on you with the burdens of this truth. All right? When you're a yokeman, you're working, man. Whenever you see people that's yoked together in the chain gang, everybody has them joint chains. And what do? They